Hey guys, we're getting ready to go to the gym. I have like a quick, not even really quick. I like my 30-minute workouts. Since I started going back to the gym, I started doing 30-minute workouts instead of like trying to go full throttle and do like an hour. I low-key feel like this is upside down, so I'm gonna so I'm looking forward to that. But one thing that just kind of came to mind to me today was just how like everyone's on a quest looking for love. And I low-key just kind of feel like as a society, but more so my finger, I cut my finger, so that's why I had to like wrap it in this sock. But I just kind of feel like as a people, like we've really got our priorities effed up. Like one thing I'm just kind of noticing with men, I'm gonna say this about men, because I think that this is like, I feel like women are kind of getting it. Like women are kind of waking up, learning, like, you know, there's husband guys, and then there are like fun guys, and then there's like, you know, X, Y, and Z. But I think women are kind of, I think women have always been more mature. Okay, my says. And I think that women kind of like get it. And I think women are looking into themselves and really trying to like do that healing work. Not all, but I do think that like a good majority of women are really kind of like trying to take care of themselves, you know, and like figure out like, you know, let me get me together. But one thing I was going to say that I just noticed with so many guys is that so many guys are just not healthy. Like not well, not healthy. I got bit by so many mosquitoes today. And it's like they're out here looking for relationships, and it's like the last thing you need to be doing is being in a relationship. And I feel like so many men now, like that's what, when you really get to the root of a lot of these arguments in regards to like gender roles or like women being masculine or whatever, it really goes down to men having this idea that women are the incubators for their happiness. You know what I mean? Like their personal well-being, their happiness. And it's like, I think that that's what women are saying when they say they don't want a man child. Like, it's not a matter of like, you know, showing up for your partner and like doing the things that you want to do because you want to do them. I think it's more so just a matter of like being with guys who just have no clue. Like they're just miserable, they're depressed. I feel like if you're dealing with a different demographic, hello. There are a lot of guys who are just like not well, like dealing with all type of mental health issues, all type of anxiety, all type of PTSD, depression, trauma, low self-esteem. And it's like these things are like seldom addressed. And I think for men, it's because like men aren't taught to like work on yourself, or you know what I mean? Men are taught like you're completely fine. Like when you think about what the conversations are around like dating and who needs to be fixed and who's getting it wrong, it's always catered specifically to women. Like women are being told like go and do all these different things. And I just kind of wanted to get on here and say that, like, I feel like being a single woman, people kind of try to put this punishment on you. But I got to a point in my life where I just kind of realized it's not even worth your time. Quite frankly, I am not cynical, but I genuinely feel like when it comes to dating, these conversations, the drama, you know, being young and single, like, you know what I mean? Like in your early years, like it's so much more than life than just finding a relationship. I used to be the complete opposite. Like I really used to be the kind of girl, it was like relationships was just my sole focus. Like that was just my sole aim. I was like, if I can just get this relationship, I know I'll be happy. Or if I can just get this relationship, you know what I mean? Then I think things will kind of like fall in place. But I don't feel that way anymore. You know, I don't even have those beliefs, and it's not because of pain. It's really just because it's like when you really look at life in the grand scheme of things, like what needs to be taken care of, what needs to be done. Like these men will sit and argue with you and be like, you're so masculine, you know, you know, you don't even let a man take care of you whole time. It's like, okay, when this conversation is over, when this heated debate is over, I still got to go to work. I still gotta go pay these bills. So what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm more so saying that in the sense to where it's just like, you see how it's rooted in immaturity. And like, when you just realize that like life don't work that way, bro, when I tell you, I just had to really tap out of social media. Like I had to just tap out of these online communities and really just like put a halt on it. I feel like I was only dating because I thought I was missing out on something. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, this is what it should be for. But I think like all things, you have to overcome societal pressures and societal expectations, you know, like, sorry, I'm choking on like my little peanut butter from my gym snack. But you have to overcome those societal expectations. And a lot of times those expectations include like being in your 20s and partying or dating. Like, and it's like, no, these things are a huge waste of time. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, and I feel like the worst thing you could do is just spend your life, your whole life, your formative years solely based on relationship. Like, I'm all here for balance. Like, I think we definitely need to be balanced. I think we definitely need to be like, you know, like we don't need to be like too far right or left, you know, and not politically, but like real time. But yeah, I really do think there's something said about just like the obsessive culture and how a lot of people are putting a lot of other people in position to do what only God can do. You know what I mean? I'm looking real. I don't know why this camera got me looking so ashy. I can't believe the mosquito just bit me up like that. Girl, I was sitting outside for like not even 5 minutes. It has to be all of like 3 minutes, 30 seconds tops. Dang, he's some fat old mosquito bites on me. This is crazy. But yeah, it's like people are just, you know, it's like people are not dating for love and happiness. And I think it's because we're young. Like, people are trying to figure themselves out, let alone, and I've always kind of had the philosophy to where it's like, why don't you get you together and then try to incorporate someone else in your life? I feel like for men, the philosophy is like, just get a woman. Like, it just seems very rare that you'll meet guys who are like actually just taking the time to like work on themselves and get you together. Take care of yourself. Get yourself together before you're trying to like be in a relationship with a woman and then being upset when she's not doing cartwheels and somersaults to keep you happy or make you happy or whatever. Like, that's just way too much. Like, your life choices are your own life choices. If your job is making you miserable, that is your problem. That is not my problem. That is your problem. That is not a us problem. That is a you problem. If you are dealing with like mental health, yeah, it's a you problem, because you need to learn how to take care of yourself, manage yourself, get better control of yourself. But it becomes an us problem or a we problem when you're dealing with people who are not good for your mental health. When you're dealing with people who are sabotaging your mental health. When you're dealing with people who are not taking care of your mental health. Then it kind of becomes like a thing. But yeah, I think overall that's just like the trend that I'm seeing, and it's really played out. And like, I don't know who y'all think people are. Like, people are just normal people with, like, you know what I mean? And I hold space and compassion, because I feel like I used to be that person. Like, I really used to think that a relationship was going to make me happy. And I really think it's really, for women specifically, I think it's because, first of all, society just has a very interesting way of punishing single women. I say this all the time, but especially if you're black, like, society has a very interesting way of punishing black women for handling their business and taking care of themselves and going after certain opportunities. It's the weirdest, most tiring thing. And like, you get a lot of you can really generate an income with this type of attitude. Like, if your content is centered around like black women not being enough and black women being the problem, then that you can actually make a lot of money, because a lot of people feel that way, you know. But yeah, man, like, you just kind of realize like people just are not well, and you have so many people who are just like really, you know, screwing off a lot of important things in life because it's like they're so like delusional. I know that that's like become like the normal. We have a lot of normality around delusion, but like, you have a lot of people who are not making choices and taking initiative in their life and like walking by faith and sowing seeds and like, you know, being diligent in their works, because they just believe that like at some point it's all gonna come together. And like, that's just not how life works. Like, there is no such thing as like go with the flow. Like, you're gonna flow up the stream. Like, I'm all here for trusting God. I feel like trusting God is trusting in the vision that God is giving you. Everybody has a vision. I really believe that like people are just kind of at the, I don't know. I think to me, I'm really trying to figure out what it is from a sociological standpoint. And I think it's just really rooted in immaturity. Like, I genuinely think it's just rooted in immaturity. Like, okay, yeah, you may not have your dream job, but like, you have a job. Everyone has to work. I don't want to hear anything else about it. Okay. I don't want to hear anything else about it. And it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like where we are today, it's just not a good space. Like, I just don't feel like we're not maturing, we're not growing. And this whole idea of like being delusional or that you're going to manifest yourself into like certain things, I just don't see this being like a win-win for you guys. I'm actually concerned. Like, you're gonna look up and like, this is a prime example. I'm gonna give this example before I go to the gym. You ever notice how the most spiritual baddie girls are always getting done the worst? And there was this content creator. She was like, how is it that all you girls with these crystals and stuff, you're always getting cheated on? Like, isn't your didn't you see this coming? And I think that more so speaks to the realism that like nobody knows what the future holds. So you kind of like doing this thing where you just kind of feel like you're going to just manifest your way into something without doing any work. Like, I don't care what anybody, you can attract certain opportunities. If you don't have the work, if you're not ready for it, it's fleeting and you're going to waste your time. Okay. So I don't know. I think that maybe someone needs to just kind of like come and give you guys like a reality check, because I just feel like you guys, people are just really immature today. People are not growing up. People are like, I'm all here for compromise. I'm all here for understanding in regards to like the world and where we are right now within our economy. I'm all here for that. I'm here. I'm right here with you. And I know for me, it's like, there are a lot of things that I can't control. Girl, I'm riding on God just as much as you, but at the same time, I'm still showing up every single day. I'm not letting these things, I'm not letting my age or anything like that deter me from maturing and becoming a responsible adult and becoming a responsible young lady. And for me, I'm going to end with this. For anyone who's like working to really overcome that mindset of like obsession with relationships, or you're just dealing with people who are just immature and they have no business being in a relationship, but because they're men, they get a pass. They're seen as the sturdy ones. They're, they get like some type of, they get some benefit from that. I'm going to say that I know a lot of times these dating coaches, like a lot of people create a lot of scarcity around relationships and dating, especially in regards to women. And I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I'm not here to really even give any advice, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I really don't think that you should just like spend your whole life waiting around for this. I really don't. Like, I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen for you, but I'm just saying I really don't think that you should spend like considerable amount of time obsessing over a relationship. And I think that, again, we're young, especially in your 20s. A lot of people are immature. So if you're really looking for something serious, it's not impossible, but like, you got to consider a lot of things, like demographically, geographically, demographically. There's a lot of things that go into play there. And I just think you have your whole life to do that. And I'm not saying don't prioritize. This is just more so for people who are like leaning a little too far into it. And like, that's the only thing that consumes you. And you don't have any goals. And you don't have any plans. And you don't have any dreams or aspirations. Or you may have these dreams or aspirations, but you're consuming the wrong content. And you're feeling like, oh my God, this is masculine. Oh my God, I have to work. Oh my God, I'm not in my feminine. Like, no, you're an adult and this is real life. And this is here. Listen, I want everybody, just repeat after me. This is my reality. Okay? This is my reality. And I'm not saying that you cannot, work to have a better reality. But what I am saying is, what we're not going to do is we're not going to think that we can like think our way out of a situation. It's going to take some sewing. Okay? It's going to take some sewing. You're going to have to like put in the work. And you're young. You should probably do it now because it's pretty inevitable. So at some point, you're going to have to do it anyway. And most young guys don't even know themselves. They can't even understand themselves. So, and then, lastly, when you get to a certain point in your life, like me, I've always been very authentic. I don't even want to, like making this video, it's like, but like and even just saying it, it's like, because I just be doing me. But I've always been someone who's authentic. I'm not perfect. I'm very much imperfect. I'm working on my imperfections. But I can honestly say, if you are the kind of person, I lost my train of thought. But if you're authentic, that's what I was saying. Sadia Khan posted this I seen a reel of her. She's a psychologist, and she basically just said, like, when you're authentic, there's like two things that like humans need, like authenticity, which is everyone's like, I want someone who makes me feel safe, be myself, whatever, and then we need like attachment. And she said, if you have to forego the authenticity to get the attachment, then it'll never work. And how many people today, how many women today are foregoing like their dreams? I'm not talking about careers, because I genuinely just like, who cares about a career? Like, I'm not talking about something that you do for money. I'm talking about like your life calling, your dream, your vision, your, like, you know what I mean? Like, how many women are foregoing that? Or even their personalities, even the things that they like. Like, you guys have to understand that, like, not every girl is the same. Not every girl's the same. When I see young girls and I'm just like, they're so unique, I just like, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Because that was me as a kid. Like, I was not this girl. I was not like into the hair and like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, once I got older, but like, that wasn't me. And I just think that today, so many women are really being forced into existing in a very narrow thing. That's why you have the rise of like the hypergamy tyrants. And I'm not saying that they're like bad. You know, I wrote about this in my column today. I just felt like I thought that was like a given. Like, you know, who gets married for, like, you know what I mean? And I think that really what the prevalence of this conversation shows is, again, a lack of maturity. Like, people who are having these conversations are people who probably shouldn't be getting married because you're a child. This is minuscule. We got real world problems going on out here. We got real world things, you know what I mean? And my whole point in mentioning that was, so many people don't know who they are, so they're willing to get in relationships with people, and it's like, you don't realize that that's like your big, like, you're the thing. So it's like, if you give yourself away to just any old person, they're dealing with their own stuff, or they don't, you know, they envy, or they don't, you know what I mean? They don't know how to find authenticity for themselves, and you suffer. So it's like, I don't know, you guys. I just think that, like, real life conversations need to be had. And I do think that it's time to, like, really step back for a lot of people. And, like, it's not a matter of foregoing dating, but it's just more so, like, get your life together. Get your life together. Get yourself together. And I don't know. I think when you really kind of find that peace and happiness within yourself, you just don't really see, like, relationships are just no longer on a pedestal, because you realize that, like, each person is just a human, and, like, you want to be with someone that you like and you enjoy them. You know how many people do you really meet today? And it's like, what do you like to do? And it's like, they don't know what they like to do. They don't have a life outside of their career. They don't have a life outside. You know what I mean? Like, they're not very interesting, right? Because it's like, I said right, but I was going to say why. But it's like, because they haven't cultivated a life for themselves. They don't even know who they are. So being with someone like this is going to be very challenging, because it's like, this is boring. This is mild. This is not giving what I thought it was going to give. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, you know, and then when people possess things, like, you know what I mean? Those innate things, like, as women, like, we have those innate things. So it's just like, people just want to try to come and take that. It doesn't matter, friend, foe, relationship, or whatever. If people aren't healthy, people aren't 100 within themselves, they're not going to be 100 for you. Okay? And a lot of people in these 20s are not 100 within themselves, and it's okay. You've only been out here for like a few years, bro. Like, you need to give yourself time to, like, get it together. But what you don't want to do is waste so much time not getting it together. I think that's another reason why a lot of people aren't single, is because people are called to things, but people aren't being obedient, right? Like, people are called to be husbands and wives, but they're just not maturing. You know, God is just like, oh my gosh, like, I should have never gave them a will, because this is what they're doing. Like, this is folly. I have a purpose for you. I have a calling for you. You are assigned to someone, and you just can't seem to get it together. You just refuse to grow up. And I think that that's just kind of what we have today. And you don't feel bad about it, because it's like, you know, it's okay. Being immature is something that's rewarded. It's rewarded. And it feels so much easier to put down someone else who may be in the same boat, or a lesser, you know, a less, you know, greater situation or whatever, so you can feel better about yourself. It's easy to be like, oh yes, like, you know, that's why these single black bees, you know what I mean? Like, it's so disgraceful, but it's like, it feels so much better to put down someone who's already being beat down, because you don't really have to look at yourself. You don't have to really sit with yourself and be like, wow, like, I am just a piece of lard. Thanks for coming to the TED Talk.